Today we're going to talk about a tool somewhere between Control F and the computer on Star Trek. It's actually kind of almost like a junior associate at a law office. You can take this tool and you can say, hey, here's a document, hundreds of pages. I want you to go through and find every phone number. I want you to go through and find every social security number. Unlike a standard Control F, you don't have to know what the phone number is or what the social security number is. You just have to know the pattern. You have to know that a phone number is a set of digits. It's usually 3 digits followed by 4 digits, sometimes preceded by another 3 digits, and maybe another set of digits in front of that. You need to know what the pattern is you're looking for in the text. And if you can describe that pattern as a set of, say, digits or particular letters or a range of letters or an optional set of characters, then you can find it using a tool called regular expressions. So this tool, regular expressions, can be really useful because you can go in, you can find patterns, and not only that, you can replace those patterns. So we're gonna explore this wonderful tool together today, and we're not gonna teach you everything you know about regular expressions, but we're gonna introduce you, we're gonna orient you, we're gonna get you in a place where you're gonna be good to go. And then below, you're going to do a little more work with them. And by the time we meet on Monday, you'll be ready to use them like a pro. And I will actually be building some things that I think might be useful for you in your life today, as opposed to some of the more sort of esoteric stuff that we've been building. This is something that I think you're going to be able to put to use in your life. And that's always fun. All right, so what do you need to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is down below, you'll see some resources. One of those resources is a website, Regular Expressions 101, so Regex 101, actually, it's abbreviated. Regex is the way the cool kids talk about regular expressions. So you're gonna go ahead and open that website, right? And then also down below, you're gonna find a string of text, a combination of mostly numbers, some other characters. I want you to take that, copy it, and then I want you to paste it in the website, okay? Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I feel like actually it would be more fun if I did a cool transition. Woo. Okay, here we are at regex101.com. And what this site does is it allows you to perform a regular expression, which is a search for patterns on a set of text. Here's the text, what we're calling our test string. And then here's where we're going to define the regular expression. What I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and use sort of that example I talked about before, which is let's see if we can find all the phone numbers in this text. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce you to some different tokens. That's sort of what we call the patterns that you're going to talk about. And we're going to search for things. So obviously you could do, well, not obviously, but one of the things you can do is you can just do literal matching, right? If I type the digit 1, it'll go through and it'll find all the 1s. Okay, so we're sort of getting a preview here of all the matches in color. If I do 1, 2, I can find all the matches of 1 and 2 next to each other. But that's not what I want to do. I want to find all of the certain sort of patterns. And so what I'm going to do is, so those, if something matches the exact character is, that's called a literal character. So if I type an individual digit or an individual letter for that instance, it's going to match the exact digit or letter in the text. What I'm interested though is in things called tokens, which are sort of not literal matches, but things that are going to be able to tell you about looking for a pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these square brackets, and actually inside of square brackets I can do something like 0 to 9. And what it's going to do is going to match all of the characters that are numeric between 0 and 9. And actually the reason I chose Regex 101 is because if you go and you mouse over what you've written, it'll tell you what it's looking for. So it's going to match a single character present in the set. So that's what happens in the square bracket. It's going to say match a single character present in the set. So I'm saying between 0 and 9. So it's finding all of the digits. Now, if I do that, that's great. That finds all the digits. That's obviously not helping me find a phone number. So what I want to do is I want to look for sets of those digits. So 1 digit and then another digit, and then another digit, and then phone numbers have 3 digits and then a dash, right? And then they have a digit, a digit, a digit, a digit. Looky there, I found some phone numbers. Now, you might be looking at it and going, that looks not like the best way to write something. I don't know anything about regular expressions, but that seems like a lot of writing to find those. Is there a better way to do that? And the answer is yes. You can actually use what's called a quantifier to set the number of times you're looking for something. So what we've done is we said look for a number, so something between 0 and 9. Then look for another number, something between 0 and 9. Then look for a number, something between 0 and 9. Then literally look for a hyphen, okay, that dash. Then look for a number, a number, a number, a number. Well, one of the things, hopefully, that you're learning about programming is that you want to avoid repeating yourself. So this sort of writing the same thing over and over again seems like we're repeating ourselves. So maybe there's a better way to do that. Actually, I can, and there is. I can take those and I can use this quantifier. So if I use the curly Q brackets, I can actually specify if I want to find, 2 sets of this thing, right? And so again, this is, match a single character present in the set. This is a single character in the range between 0 and 9. And you'll see this here says a quantifier, matches exactly 2 times. So it's saying find this thing 2 times. So find a number twice. I actually want 4 digits on the end here. And I want 3 digits here in the front. And there were my original phone numbers I found. I also might want to include the area code. So I'm going to do that. I can actually just copy what I have there, paste it again, and I've got a digit 3 times dash, a digit 3 times dash, a digit 4 times. And that shows me 2 phone numbers. Interesting thing that's happened here, this shows me a different set of phone numbers than the ones I was just looking at. So maybe this is not a very robust way to look for things. Maybe I can actually, I need to think about what is a phone number. I need to say, how do you represent a phone number? And so let's unpack that a little. So for one thing, not everyone writes phone numbers with dashes. Maybe they use dots, okay, or periods. So let's see what happens if I take these dashes and I replace them with dots. Oh, ooh, that doesn't look right. So this is where you have to watch out. Regular expressions, like other ways of representing things, will have characters that are either literal characters, literal matches, or they're some type of other token, right? So here, actually, in regular expressions, a dot is a wild card. So it means find anything, right? If I want the literal dot, I actually have to use what's called an escape character. So I'm going to put this slash right there. And what that slash does is it says, look not for the wildcard dot, it says look for a dot. So it's saying, don't treat this like the wildcard it is. Treat it like the thing it actually is. Treat it like a dot. And so now I found phone numbers where I'm using a dot instead of a dash. Okay, well, that's great, but what about all my dashes, right? I had phone numbers there. I want to catch them both. And it turns out that actually you can do that because you actually can do some little logical tests here. So for example, I can take something and I can enclose it in a parenthetical. And then actually if I use a pipe, this sort of vertical mark sort of right above the return for most people when you hit shift, I can replace that, and that pipe reads as or. So again, if I mouse over, I can see it matches the little character dot and says alternative, acts sort of like a Boolean or, and there's matches literal. And then this thing is first capturing group, and we'll get to that in a minute. The point is that right now it's sort of setting this off. It's not saying everything on this side or everything on that side. It's just going to do the or, apply the or in here. So I'm either saying looking for a dot or a hyphen. Well, if I go ahead and I apply that to my whole thing, or both of these, there I got the dots and hyphens. And now look, I found 4 phone numbers. I found 4 phone numbers where I'm either using dots or hyphens. So I'm building something that looks more like it's going to be able to catch more of the phone numbers I care about. Now, obviously there's some other stuff going on here. What about phone numbers where someone puts the area code off and doesn't separate it by a dash, but separates it by a parenthesis? Well, obviously we know from here, parentheses are not going to be literal characters because they're being used in this way, not literally, right? Now, right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to introduce you to some of the ways you might structure a regular expression. And you're like, wait a second, too much, it's all happening so fast. That's okay. The reason I introduced you to this tool was not just because it tells you what it is you've typed. But it has these great references here. So down here, you actually can find a list of tokens. And if you weren't sort of as zoomed in as I am, you'd be able to sort of explore this better. But you see common tokens. And you can see there, here are some of the common things. And you can click on them and say, oh, well, this is going to match either an A, B, or C character. This is very much like that 0 to 9 that we did. Inside the square bracket, it's going to look for a character that matches one of the things in there. And so you can look and you can explore and see what are these different things, right? So like here, for example, you can see that there's any non-white space is this slash capital S. And you can see all of those there. It's a really good reference. I'm going to provide you some links to down below, or actually on some of the other following exercises. I'll point you at some other resources that will be useful. But yeah, this quick reference guide here is really helpful. So remember, this is a video. You can pause, you can stop, you can go back. But really, I want you just sort of to play around here, and you can also search in here. So if you were looking for numbers, right? So so I do number, and then I see here any digit, any non-digit, right? So you start to see patterns in the way these things are represented. And I actually sort of gave away something I'm going to show you here. Well, so let's just jump to it. This slash D is any digit. Well, heck, that's only 2 characters. That's a lot better than this bracket 9 thing. If I just do the D's there, okay. There we go. That looks a little cleaner. Okay, so now what I'm saying is look for any digit 3 times, then either a dot or a hyphen, then any digit 3 times, then either a dot or a hyphen, and any digit 4 times. Okay, so that sort of defines for me what I think a phone number might look like. But I can also, I want to think about this situation where I could have a parenthetical as well. So I actually can use ORs multiple times. Remember, we said that these parentheses are obviously not literal, so they're going to need an escape character. So I'm going to do my slash in a parenthetical. And then I'm going to use this OR and actually put a space there after it too, because often you do it as a space. And look, I caught a new phone number. I have this 555 parenthetical space number. If I want to catch that parenthetical on the other end, I can do the same here. I can do the escape character, the open parentheses. Now what I've done, interestingly, is I've caught only that one. But before, when I didn't have that there, I caught more. So here's an interesting question. So what I can do is I actually can, the quantifiers can actually exist in a different way too. I don't have to just say exactly 3. I can say 0 or 1, right? And that's a quantifier that looks like a question mark. And if you look there, that question mark is saying quantifier matches between 0 and 1 times, as many times as possible, giving back as needed. And so what's happening here is in these phone numbers, there is no open parentheses. So it's matching that case of the 0 times. Here it's matching the case when it's the 1 time. And so now I've expanded the stuff I'm finding. I'm now finding 5 phone numbers with my wonderfully designed regular expression. And so the question comes up, are there more things I could look for? Well, actually, I've hidden one in there. If you look for it, there's sometimes people use a slash to separate their area code from the rest of their phone number. You might also think about the scenario when people don't have the area code in front. And so what you can do actually is you can wrap things in a parenthetical. So I'm going to take the area code here and wrap it in a parenthetical. And then I can take that and I can use a quantifier on that. So I'll say 0 1 time. Now look, there I picked up this other phone number. And I see here it's led by this thing with a dash. But I would also pick up any phone numbers where there wasn't an area code. And so you can see how you can start to build this out. Now, whether or not this is the end-all, be-all phone finder depends upon whether or not you have accounted for all of the different ways that someone might write a phone number in the document you're looking. I think right now we've gone through and we've sort of shown what we needed to with this. As an exercise for you, dear viewer, I leave it to you to find these social security numbers or any social security numbers I may or may not have hidden in the text below. So think about what that looks like. What does that string look like? How could you define that pattern and look for it? All right. So that is the text you're seeing there. Now, another thing I want to do is I'm going to pull some text from a legal opinion. And so I'm going to go over, I have a website here set up with the legal opinion here. I'm just going to pull out this first paragraph. Let me copy that. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to paste it in my text. Now, I don't find any phone numbers there, but let's see if I can find something else interesting. The thing I want to find is actually a site to the US code, right? So we know the US code is always going to have this site where it's going to be, you know, it's going to be U, S, I'm sorry, don't leave that there, U, S code, right? So we're looking for USC. So there is a site to the USC right there. But what I want to do is I want to capture all of the information there. And what I want to do is I want to, I know that it's always going to be preceded by, there's going to be a space in front of it, right? And there should be some number in front of it. All right, that number there, I caught the 7, but I want to catch all of the number. Well, actually, there are some other quantifiers that would help for you. You can do a plus, which is going to be anything between 1 and infinity. And so I can catch that number there. I know there's going to be a space, and then there's going to be, you know, that special character section, right, and a space. And then again, there's going to be some number. And again, that number might be 1 digit or multiple digits. If I really want to get fancy, I know that also there can be an optional parenthetical at the end, right? So I could be looking for a, an actual parenthetical that's going to have some number in it. But I don't have any of those examples here, and I want to make this optional. So I'll cloak that actually in something and then give it that, you know, it could or couldn't show up. And then we need to make sure that this sort of is like this. So let's see, what am I missing here? Another thing I could have, oh, well, there could be a space and then a parenthetical and then this. Oh, this would actually be for the year. So the year is always done in groups of 4. And then there's that. So this is telling me, you know, maybe there's something, something like that. And I had that extra space there, which was crunching me. And if I went ahead and I went in here and I took this and I went ahead and I then added, you know, 2020, then it's going to catch that as well. Okay. So what you can see is I can just build up these structures. Something I didn't show you in the last one is that you actually can also do a substitution. So it's actually, you click over here, it says substitution. And then here is actually the same text as above. And what I can do is I can write in a substitution. So if I wanted to do, I could just do something like cite. And then what's going on there is I can see that what I found, my matched thing, is just being replaced with the word cite. So you can imagine if you were using that in the past example with phone numbers or with social security numbers, you could use this to redact a document. And that's pretty cool. You could just say, I'm going to go through, I'm going to redact all the things that look like social security numbers or redact all the things that look like a phone number. And then, you know, you've got this document here. Where are you actually going to do this? Because you're not going to do this in Regex 101. But where you would do this is you would do this in some text editor, right? So Atom or other code editors are going to have regular expressions built in, and you can do them there. You can also do them in code. And you can have code do this redaction, but you could easily do this inside a text editor, and that is probably where you would do a lot of this work. But we don't want to just replace this with something that says cite. We want to replace this. Let's replace this with something cool. Let's build a link, and let's link to the actual code that's being cited. So if you remember a little bit of our HTML, a link sort of looks like this in HTML. All right, so we're going to have it say a tag, a ref, and there'll be some text of the site. And then we close the a tag, and we can see here it is here. There's our link. But we actually want it to point somewhere. So what I'm going to do is, and we want it to not say site, right? So the first thing is you can wrap your regular expressions in these parentheticals. You see here it says first capturing group, that parenthetical there. Well, actually, if I make a group, I'm going to put a parenthetical around the whole thing, just for fun. If I did that, then that becomes the first capturing group. And then I can do a little fun thing. I can do something called a back reference. There's a little variation from different code environments. Here, the way to do a back reference is to do a slash and then the number of the reference. This is the first reference. And then look what happened here. It replaced the citation with a href equals something, and then the text of my first reference, because I did this /1. It says matches the same text, the most recent matched by the first capturing group. Okay, so what that means is it means I actually could take this and I can parrot things back off, but I can drill down, right? So I can put those parentheticals around different things. Like I could put it around this first digit, I could put it around the second digit, and then actually I'm going to get rid of this big thing all around it. And this is revealing to me I had an error here. I was looking for just a single digit in my parenthetical. I want to put it like that. So there we go. Now I see color-coded my different groups. So there's my match 1. Here's another match. So this was group 1. This is group 0. Here's group 2. Okay. And what I can do is I can reconstruct then what the site should look like. So it could be back reference to the first group, USC for United States Code, section, and then to my second group, right? And now I see it says 17 USC section 107. So I've captured that. And what's really cool is a lot of times web resources will have URLs where you can find information based upon, if it's a well-structured URL, you can get the information you want by building a nice URL. So actually, if we go to the Cornell has a wonderful resource, which I'll put a link down below so you can read a little bit more about it, that has the whole US code online. So actually, if I go in, and so you can find that at www.law.cornell.edu US code /text. And then actually, if I visit slash, and then where that is the first part of the site to the US code, and here's the section, that'll actually get me what I want. And so I can see here, it's saying, make this link, go to this link for that. And if I actually take that and I paste that into my web page, right? Then I can see that, look, there's the code I want. So what I've actually done is I've built a tool that allows me to build a regular expression, look for a pattern, take that pattern, break it up into smaller bits, reference back to those smaller bits, and replace text such that I can build things like a link. And then if you took this text here, this text, you could take it, you put it on a web page, and you would now have links to the US code based upon this search. A couple of things here. There are some modifiers that you put. So here are these modifiers. The G is global, which means that it's going through, it's matching multiple times, not just one. The M is doing multi-line. So if you have a text file that has multiple lines, these are things that you need to think about. But what I wanted to do is just show you that there's this, this tool, this thing called regular expression, that if you can figure out how to describe a pattern in your text, there's a way you can encode that in regular expression, and then it can find that pattern in your text. This all, I'm sure, is very abstract and not concrete yet, because I just sort of went through and I showed you some examples. And we know very well that that's not the way for you to learn anything. The way for you to learn things is to get your hands dirty and play with some stuff. So I'm going to direct you to the videos down below, where you'll find more resources, and you're actually going to be asked to play a game. coming up pretty soon. So if you like crosswords, there's a nice little twist. If you don't like crosswords, I'm sorry, but I think you'll maybe still enjoy this. So go down there. You're going to play with these some more. There's also going to be an exercise there for those of you who don't know about this thing called bookmarklets. You're going to learn about that, and you'll get a chance to use actually some of the stuff from this video to build some cool things. So I hope that, I hope that you have fun. And by the time we get together on Monday, I know it might be hard to believe right now after like, what was all that stuff whizzing by? With a little practice, looking here at these quick references, figuring out different things, just figuring, playing with this for a little while, you're going to find yourself in a place where you're going to be able to deal better with regular expressions. And then on Monday, we're going to build some stuff together. All right, great. See you then.